Good evening, everyone. Apologies for the slight delay to the evening tonight. We have had a technical issue, I'm afraid. So apologies for the short delay. And Mr. Johnson does send his apologies. He was due to present at the beginning of this this event this evening, but has had to go to another trustee meeting straight after, and unfortunately the delay meant that he did have to leave straight away. We will get started. Thank you so much for attending the virtual evening and the virtual aspirations evening, and it's a really good opportunity for us to talk through everything that we'll be doing in terms of our careers programme for our Year 12 students, and we will be looking at the university application programme. But firstly, the sixth form team. I just wanted to introduce you to the sixth form team first. So as you are aware, I'm her teacher in charge of sixth form currently, and we have Mr. Finlater, who will be presenting to you in a short while, and he will be talking to you about the work that he's doing with the students in terms of mentor time and organisation and the VESPA model, which he will talk to you about. We have Mrs. Atkinson Spragg, our pastoral and enrichment leader, who supports students within the enrichment programme and as a pastoral support as well. But that enrichment programme is really key when it comes to the careers programme that we offer. And then we have Mrs. Medley there, who is our careers leader. And what is really good about Miss Medley now is she's actually moved over to sixth form. She's based in our sixth form now, which means that students have access to her on a regular basis, on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday when she's in, and she will support the careers programme in sixth form. So to begin with, just a little outline on the careers programme for this summer term, the previous summer term, and what we're doing leading up to that as well. So students within mentor time have been doing activities, exploring their options, planning and researching what options are available to them. There are some students that have a really good idea what they want to do in the future, and then there are other students that are a little bit unsure. So we ensure that all of our students do the same activities so that they're all on the sort of same level playing field as such. We've had assemblies which have been an introduction to universities and apprenticeships, employment and gap years. Because what we do over the course of the careers programme, we ensure that all students have access to all of that information for those four areas there to make sure that they're making an informed decision for them as an individual. Moving into this half term, each Year 12 student will have a meeting, a one-to-one meeting with their mentor. So the mentor will ask them to bring along a document that they have been given to complete, which includes things like if they have a part-time job, if they have any hobbies or interests outside of college, what they do during enrichment time. That helps the mentor to form the conversation about careers and aspirations and what the students want to go on into in the future. And during enrichment time, we have started the UCAS HUB element to the application process for university, but I'll go into that in a little bit more detail. I'm now going to hand over to Mr. Finlater, who will talk you through the next part of the presentation about what we do during mentor time. Are you okay there, Mr. Finlater? Are you able to click through?
Just trying to find the very small...
There we go, it's just there.
Perfect. Is it changed? So good evening, everyone. My name is Mr. Finlater, and I am the Key Stage 5 Academic Enrichment Leader here at Norton College Sixth Form. I understand that the process of planning for your future, or even trying to decide what it is that you want to do after secondary school, can be a daunting process for some students and parents. And I want to highlight some of the many things we do and have been doing this last academic year. I just want to say again that my door is always open, and if there are ever any questions at all, students are more than welcome to come see me or simply drop an email. I want to start by talking about trips and visits, as they are such an essential part of deciding what you want to study and where you want to study. COVID restrictions did prevent a lot of visits the first half of this year, as universities were not allowing visitors, but we were fortunate to be able to arrange for our students to attend the University and Careers Fair in Leeds, and that is the photo on the right of some of our Year 12s at that event. I have already arranged for this event again for October, and current Year 12s are more than welcome to attend a second year if they are struggling to decide what to do. This University and Careers Fair brings together a lot of universities, employers and apprenticeship providers in one place, and there are seminars to support applications and answer the many questions students obviously have at this time. I would suggest if your son or daughter is still unsure what they want to do, then do attend this in October, as it is an excellent opportunity to ask questions and ask about the wealth of courses out there. There literally are thousands of them out there. On the left, you can see some of our students. We also visited Newcastle University, which was for a lot of our students the first actual university they'd visited. Even if you decide a university is not for you, for example, Newcastle University, the process of visiting and working out what suits you and what does not is so important and will make it clearer what exactly you do want. I'm in the process of arranging more university visits and also visitors from universities to come into school for the next school year to help our students decide the right path for them. I would recommend visiting other universities around the country on your own too, so you have a really clear view of what you want. Could you change the slide for me, please? Thank you. The VESPA model is something I mention fairly regularly as it is just so important. Unfortunately, it is not the iconic Italian brand of scooters, but a series of 5 areas: vision, effort, systems, practice, and attitude, that if underdeveloped at sixth form can lead to underachievement. The terms vision, effort, systems, practice, and attitude seem fairly straightforward, and in many ways they are, as they're all about instilling motivation, work ethic, and a productive learning environment, all essential at sixth form. I have built in activities to support the VESPA model in mentor time. We work on it further in small groups with students, and I have spoken with staff on numerous occasions to help embed this into lessons as well. The skills you learn and the questions you are made to ask help develop you further as a student and prepare for life at university and beyond. The EPQ, or the Extended Project Qualification, is something I personally wish I had had the opportunity to do when I was at my own school's sixth form, as it is a rare opportunity to truly investigate anything, and I mean literally anything you find fascinating. Projects vary from areas of business students find interesting to game design and even theatre analysis. You choose any topic you want to investigate. We have really great numbers of students in both years 12 and 13 undertaking the EPQ for a variety of reasons as part of enrichment afternoons on Wednesdays. The EPQ is an excellent way of supporting your university application, as it really shows you've made that extra effort. It isn't easy and it does require a lot of dedication and independence. And due to this, universities do rate it highly, and they can change their offer based on your successful completion of the EPQ, due to this, the rigor of the EPQ. On the other hand, some of our students are completing the EPQ purely out of a love of learning, which is exactly the sort of mindset that leads to success, and we fully support this here at Norton College sixth form. Apart from all these areas I support with, I also work with students wanting to study disciplines such as medicine or veterinary science, students who want to go to Oxford or Cambridge or go to a Russell Group university. For those who do not know what a Russell Group university is, it's a group of 24 universities with a shared focus on research and a reputation for academic achievement, and these universities produce more than 2/3 of the world-leading research produced in UK universities, and they actually support more than 260,000 jobs across the country. Russell Group universities and attending of Russell Group University is a sign of excellence. We are extremely fortunate to have so many world-class universities near us, York being just one, alongside the other great universities in the north of England, such as Newcastle, Leeds, Durham and Manchester. So we're very lucky to be in this area. And many of our students choose to attend these establishments after Norton College. To help with these applications, I meet with students one-on-one and help students to direct their energy and work in the right direction. The students I am working with are working extremely well and completely understand the hard work they need to put in themselves. I remind students of the work expected on their part and check in regularly to keep them on track. As you can see, we do an absolute wealth of things at Norton College at sixth form, but obviously the students put in so much work behind the scenes. I want to end my part by saying I know our teachers at Norton College sixth form go above and beyond. They're experts in their subjects and they instill this love of learning in lessons. And I look forward to the exciting paths our students choose at Norton College. Thank you.
Thank you ever so much, Mr. Finlater. So just before I move on, I did want to just mention that there is a Q&A section on the live chat here. You should be able to see that on your screens. If you did have a question, you can pop that in there and I will try to answer them at the end. And if I'm unable to answer them at the end, then I will get back to you with the answer. So moving on then, we talked about UCAS and the students will talk about UCAS. And for anybody who's listening today that has never had a child go through the university program process or been through that process yourselves, UCAS is an independent charity. And what they do is they process the applications, they provide information and advice, and they make sure that all the applications are processed efficiently and effectively. What they don't do is they don't suggest university courses or make decisions. They are the middle person between the student and the university themselves. So passing that application on. So UCAS has over 350 universities that work alongside it, and you can see there where they are all based, and there are 35,000 plus courses available through UCAS. There are some universities that do not work with UCAS for various reasons. So for instance, drama schools. Some of the big drama schools in London, for instance, Italia Conti and so on, they do not, you do not apply to that university through UCAS. You do it on a separate application, and that is a private application on there. So when it comes to UCAS, that we've already talked about the choices that are available to students. So when they've finished their post-16 study, they can go on to university, apprenticeships, degree level apprenticeships, studying abroad, and that can be part of their university degree as well, taking a gap year or getting a job. And like I said before, this is something that we present to all of our students, making sure that they have they can make an informed decision about their future. So I'll firstly talk a little bit about apprenticeship advice, but this evening's event is more about the university process, because with apprenticeships, we won't start looking at those until around about January, February time of year 13 with our students. The reason we don't look at these until then is because the apprenticeships aren't on offer at that point. So we wait until then so we can see what apprenticeships are available to our students. So we start the process now, but we start it with the university applications. But if you go onto the UCAS website, you will see that there is an apprenticeship section on there. And it gives students information about the different types of apprenticeships that they can do. So, for instance, I mentioned the degree level apprenticeships. So some companies will allow students to do an apprenticeship, and they will pay for them to do their degree alongside it, which is very appealing, and they are becoming more and more popular nowadays. But it also tells you how to find and apply for apprenticeships and preparing for an application in the interview process. And that's something that we do in school as well with the students. But like I said, it's more January, February time. So here's some of our apprenticeships where our students have gone on to in previous years, and this is actually all our students in the last couple of years going on to IT apprenticeships, care worker, dental nursing, accountancy apprenticeships, engineering apprenticeships. There's a really broad range of apprenticeships available out there for our students. But why higher education? Why university? We always say to our students, keep that door open for yourself. We encourage every single student to apply to university because they have nothing to lose by applying. They have then kept that opportunity open for themselves, and if they change their mind, or if they have their heart set on doing an apprenticeship, then absolutely fine. But it means that if they change their mind, they've still got those university applications there ready for them if they do change their minds. But at university, it's a chance to study a subject that they are passionate about and to achieve a qualification that could lead to their chosen career. And if they move away from home, like Mr. Finlayter just mentioned, those Russell Group universities that are close by, but students can still move out to those universities to live, it is massive in terms of those life skills and gaining independence and making lifelong friends, for instance. And with a degree, they will have that opportunity for better job prospects, following a career path that they have always wanted to do, and there is a higher earning potential as well for students. But it's really important to choose the right university, and like Mr. Finlayter said, try to get on those open days with your children, because actually it is so important to go and see the universities themselves, and it's actually quite a nice day out, and some of our students do go together as a group, go on the train and go and visit some universities, and we do visits as well to universities, but it might not be the ones that our students are looking to go to. So really thinking about the location, the style of the university as well, from the more traditional subject-based courses to more modern universities with a greater focus on vocational courses. So what sort of style university are they looking for? The location, some students want a location in a big city, whereas others want a smaller town, and really thinking about what they want in terms of the size of the university. Some unis are 20,000 plus students, whereas some only have a few thousand. And also looking at the living costs, the tuition fees, what graduates do, so they're alumni from those universities. It's really important that they do their research. And in terms of choosing the right course, we will do a lot of work with our students over the course of the next half term about choosing the right course. But on the UCAS website, it does outline each course, or those 35,000 plus courses that I talked about. It outlines all the modules and course content on the website. And even courses with the same title may slightly differ in their modules that they offer. And it's really looking at that course content and looking at whether they will do an internship offer at that course, whether they get a chance to do a placement or a study abroad opportunity. And how is the course taught as well? Because actually every student learns differently, don't they? And even at sixth form, they've chosen vocational or academic courses where it might be more exam-based subjects, or whether it's more of a seminar, coursework, independent research style course. And how is it actually assessed at the end of the or 4 or 5 years course that they might choose. And that's another thing to look into as well, is how long are the courses. Depending on what you want to study, depends on the length of the course. The majority of courses are 3 years, but you're looking at medicine, veterinary, dentistry, they are longer. Architecture, they are longer courses to study. That will have obviously an impact on finance as well. So here's some of our courses where our students have gone on to and looking to do this year, actually: forensic science, football coaching and management, history, and such a wide range of courses that our students are going on to. Some of them are the more traditional based subjects, and some are more of the modern vocational based subjects as well. And they've all chosen the course that is right for them as an individual, and that is so important. So they get the research right from the beginning, and that is what we are doing with our students. But in terms of them starting the research, so I've said it's really important that they do it. Students have already started. Not all of them have done this yet, so please check with your child whether they have signed up to what's called the UCAS HUB. And what they have here, and it'll be on their phone or on their laptops or whatever, and they have their own dashboard. And in the hub, they can explore careers, subjects, universities and apprenticeships. And they can find, and they favourite, so they like, with the little love heart as you see on the screen there, they can favourite the courses that really stand out to them. So they don't have to go and find it again. It automatically goes into their own dashboard. They can search for virtual tours and online events. Now, they're decreasing ever so slightly now because of COVID restrictions being lifted. So the universities are doing more and more face-to-face events, but they still have their virtual tours and online events available, because as we're doing here tonight, we do still keep with that online virtual events. So they do have the tours and online events. So if you're unable to get to an open day face to face, then please have a look on their websites, because they will offer those things. I'm not going to go into too much detail about the tariff points tonight. That's something that we will go through in detail with the students, but you can ask the students what those tariff points are. But in short, their grades will turn into UCAS tariff points, and each course offers, when they offer the students a place, they might offer them a grade-based condition. So it might ask for AAB, or it might ask for 120 UCAS points. And the hub allows the students to work out how many points they would need, or the grades that they would need to get into their chosen universities. And on that hub, they do get access to Hub Live events, a uni buddy, so they can talk to students that are at university at the moment, and they can explore job profiles to discover different careers roles. But like I mentioned earlier, Mrs. Medley is our careers leader, and she will be doing that with the students as well, and one-to-one meetings, and so will the mentors when they are giving their one-to-one meetings too. So the starting of the research is really important, and it helps them to organise everything and keep everything in one place, so that it saves them a lot of time trying to find what the universities and the courses that they've really enjoyed looking at. It helps them to expand their horizons as well, looking at courses that they might not have considered previously, because when you look on the UCAS website, and like I say, there's 35,000 plus courses, there are so many different variants on courses as well. So it's important that they do look at the different options and different courses available, and that will expand their horizons as well there. In the UCAS, on the UCAS website, there are free tools that can help the students. The students tend to like looking at accommodation and what accommodation universities have to offer, because that is an important factor for students when they are choosing the universities. But they do have Facebook Live accounts, and we do share these with the students as well. And they have discovery days for students to talk to admissions experts and look at apprenticeships, get advice on personal statements, which I'll talk through in a short while. but there are plenty of free tools to access through the UCAS website for you and the students. So when to apply then? So we have started the application process with the students now, and we're doing that during enrichment time. The main focus day will be on our alternative curriculum day, which is on the 1st of July. And we will spend that whole day looking at their applications and starting those applications. They can't send those applications until September. And if your child is looking to apply for medicine, veterinary and dentistry and courses at Oxford or Cambridge, which Mr. Finlater spoke about earlier, their deadline is a lot sooner. It's the 15th of October. So any student that will be applying and has spoken to Mr. Finlater already about applying to any of those courses, they will be starting their application process next week. And we will start theirs a little bit earlier, so they will have a different tailored programme because they do have other things to complete alongside their applications for that. For any student applying for all other courses, their deadline is in January, and it's the equal consideration application deadline in January. And then there are other opportunities throughout the year where students can apply. However, once those places get filled up at the universities, there is limited choice. So we do try to get the students to apply by that January deadline, so they have all the opportunities available to them. As I mentioned, we've got our alternative curriculum day, and we have on that day, it's on the 1st of July, so it's Friday the 1st. So on that day, we are asking all Year 12 students to be in for the full day because we've got guest speakers. Alumni, our former students are coming in. We've got people from the industry coming in to talk to students about employment and apprenticeships and degree level apprenticeships. And on that day, they will begin their application. They will also have personal statement support, and they will have a session all around their personal statement. And I will talk about the personal statement in a little bit more detail soon. So some of the key facts about applying, like I said, they register with the UCAS HUB. They will have their own username or password. For that, we recommend that they do their private email address, just in case in the summer holidays, they can't access their school account. So we do encourage their own email address for that. Students can add up to 5 choices for that, and students can't apply to both Oxford and Cambridge. There is a cost to applying, but it's only £26.50 for the 5 choices, so it's minimal cost, and anyone with any concerns about that can get in touch with us directly. And students apply through by the equal consideration date, and providers, so the universities, can't see other choices when students apply. We do link to the school, so all students will be linked to Norton College when they apply, but because this means we then have permission to view their application and track it, so we can support them on an individual basis to ensure that their application is as best as it possibly can be, ready to send off to universities. It also means that we can then provide a reference for them. So when the students go out on their work experience placement, week beginning the 11th of July, all their teachers will begin writing their references for university to support that. And we will write a reference to support the students' application, and it's from all of their subject teachers. So when they start making their application, they do it all through the hub, and you will be able to see this at home as long as they allow you the login details for this, and you sit with them at home, and your support at home is really important through this process. So they will have to complete all of those sections, and the personal statement one is the one that they tend to get a little bit hung up on, but we will give them plenty of support. But that's all the areas that they will complete in the application form for university. So the personal statement is the only section that students do have full control over, and it's a chance for them to market themselves individually. It's a maximum of 4,000 characters or 47 lines, which some students always think, well, I can't write that much about myself. And when they do start getting into that, they do find that they can write quite a lot about themselves, especially if they have lots of extracurricular activities, or they're engaging in supercurricular activities like the extended project qualification, the EPQ, which Mr. Finlater talked about. And that if they engage in all of those opportunities that we're offering during enrichment time, during volunteering work experience, and in their own personal time as well, they will have plenty to write about. They will also write about how they work academically within their subject areas, and that will be supported by the reference provided by the teacher as well. So we also ask the mentors to check that there isn't any spelling or grammar mistakes on that personal statement, and that also comes through Mr. Finlater and myself as well. They do have a detection service on the UCAS website, which does run every personal statement through the software to check for plagiarism, but our students do a one-to-one meeting to make sure that their personal statement is exactly what it is, personal to them. So it's making them stand out from the crowd in those applications. So like I've said, I've gone through this. I won't go into too much detail on this one because they start their UCAS hub, and we've started that already. They complete their application in their own time. We support them, but it's in their own time. We then review and make sure that their application is to the best standard, and we add their references, and most importantly, we add their predicted grades. And that's why we reinforce the mock exams that will be taking place in the next couple of weeks. We reinforce that with our students to make sure that they work as hard as they possibly can for those mock exams, because they do help us with those predicted grades for our students. And we enter those predicted grades, and that helps the universities make the conditional offer or the unconditional offer for students. Then the applications are sent to UCAS by the school, on behalf of the student. And then the universities make their decisions. They then will go on to their track, and it's called UCAS Track. And they track all their applications, and they will be able to follow it 24/7. They will see their choices and their personal information, and they can view their offers from the universities, and they can reply to those offers. And the way in which students reply is they have to pick their firm choice, which is the one that they would, if they meet the conditions of the offer, that's where they would like to go. That is their first choice. And then they have their insurance choice. So this is if they're not placed with their first choice, then they will be placed with their insurance choice. And all of this information is given to them on the results day, which will be in August 2023, of course. So they track their own applications. Okay, and then when it comes to the decision making, the universities will review their the personal statement, the qualifications. They will look at the reference from their teachers, and all of these things are really important. They may also ask for an interview or an admissions test, a portfolio, or an audition. So they do sometimes ask for those things as well. And like I said before, the dentistry, veterinary and so on, they do have additional tests that they would have to do, and that's why we start that process slightly earlier. And then I've already mentioned the replies to offers. The students will say their first and insurance choice, and they must decline any remaining offers. If students aren't holding any offers, so if the student doesn't get any offers whatsoever, which is very rare, we've not had that at Norton College, they may be able to use extra or clearing. And what that is, clearing is when students on universities on results day will say, we've got these courses available. These courses have places. Anybody in clearing, they can apply for these courses, and the students would ring those universities on the day, and they do that in school sometimes with us on results day, and they do it together. Sometimes students choose to go home to do that clearing process, but we do support them in school as well. And they do have other options, like say they have extra as well, where if they've not used all their 5 choices, they can add additional choices after the deadline date. So what should students be doing now? We've already mentioned that they'll be doing a lot of things in school. They've got their work experience placements coming up on the 11th of July. They need to focus on their mock exams as well. They need to be accessing extracurricular and supercurricular activities, going beyond the syllabus. So not just doing what's in the classroom, because to be able to stand out from the crowd, thousands and thousands of students across the country applying for universities, they need to make sure that they're on the yes pile for each university. And they need to do their research, not just choosing universities without looking into the course content and the course modules that are offered. They need to go and see the universities and have a look as well, because like we said right at the beginning, it's so important that students choose the style of the university that they want as well, the more traditional, or whether it's a more modern approach, the bigger university versus the smaller university, looking at those courses in detail to make sure that's what they want to study. So it's really important they're starting that now. And how can you support them? There is a great parents and guardians section of the UCAS website. So it's really worth going on that. It's just ucas.com/parents, and it will allow you to sign up for parent updates as well on that website. And you will get everything that you need to know about the application process direct to your inbox. Okay. Take your children on open days, attend open events, and because you might see a different perspective, and offer that perspective to your child as well. And being proactive as well, making sure that you're not booking holidays at key moments throughout the year, not at mock results, mock exam times, things like that, making sure that students can get the best possible opportunities throughout the school year. So what's next? Like I've mentioned, we do have our alternative curriculum day. We will be looking at the personal statements. We do have assemblies with guest speakers and alumni coming in. And during enrichment time, students will have a chance to work on their personal statements, and they will have an apprenticeship afternoon as well. But like I mentioned before, the apprenticeships advice and guidance doesn't really start until later on, because we want every single one of our students to apply to university first and then apply to apprenticeships as well as, rather than looking at one or the other. We encourage them to do all of those things. So that's what's coming up next. And I will have a look to see if anyone's got any questions as well. In the Q&A, please pop them in there if you do have a question. But Mr. Johnson has joined us now, so I'm just going to hand over to Mr. Johnson just to finalise this evening, and if there are any questions, I will try to address those in the Q&A chat as well. Thank you, Mr. Johnson.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. McDonald. So I hope that's been helpful. There's a lot of information there for you to take in. I'm sorry for the delay at the beginning. I'm sure that Mrs. McDonald apologised. We've got another meeting running concurrently with this, which is why I couldn't begin. There is a lot to take in there, a lot that's really helpful for you as well, I think, as parents to digest. What I would say is that at this point in time, it's quite easy for students to feel as though actually it would be the right thing to do not to go to university, maybe to start looking for an apprenticeship or for a job instead, and that may well be the route that students choose to take. But I know from experience that university really does offer a massive wealth of opportunity to students, not just academic but also social, personal, in terms of the way that you develop. I've seen it with my own 2 children who are at university themselves, and as a first generation university attender myself, I was quite scared of doing that in the first instance, and it was understandable, I think. that my family didn't really understand what that would be about. But it was an opportunity that really changed my world, and I'm seeing that happen with my children as well. There's not a compulsion to go once you begin the process of application, but I think keeping your options open at this point in time is a really important part of that process. And similarly, if your children are particularly kind of nervous about moving away from home, there's the opportunity across those applications that you make to go for some which are local and some which are more national. So it keeps your options open. Please do that. I really would encourage you to encourage your children to do just that, because it is an opportunity that that I really do think most students absolutely relish when they get there, and I know that our students would do just that. Your children would do. So I just wanted to say hello really at the end, and just to thank Mrs. McDonald and Mr. Findlater for their contributions tonight. I think given that there are no further questions that have appeared in the chat, we will probably end it at that point. So thank you for attending, and I'll just bid you good night. Good night.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Just because there aren't any questions, if you do have any follow-up questions after the event, please get in contact with us. We can support you through this process. And if you have any questions about finance, I can send out a link to the information regarding finance of university as well. So thank you ever so much for attending this evening. This video will be on our website as well. So if you do want to look back on any points, you can do at any point. Thank you ever so much. Good night.